7th grade. Welcome to our final lesson this week regarding percent increase and decrease. Let's go ahead and review our objective today. Our objective is, so go ahead and open up your math notebooks to a clean sheet, name today's date. Couldn't forget that. Your objective today is I could find the original amount given a new amount after a given percent increase or decrease. So once again, it's the same objective, but looking at this, I know for many of you that sometimes looking at a word problem, drawing a picture can always help in explaining how we solve this. So let's say, for example, we're working in an animal shelter. And let's say, because this is almost the start of summer, we have 216 animals. And let's say it decreases by 8% at the end of the summer. And we want to figure out how many animals were at the shelter at the end of the summer. How could we figure this out? What I have drawn here for you is known as a picture graph to help represent what this all means. So, like we talked about before, in delving with percent increase and decrease, we either take our percentage and we either add it to 100 or we subtract from 100. So, in doing so, 100% represents your total amount in this picture graph. 8% represents your decrease. So in looking here, we would take 100 and we would subtract it from our value of 8. So 100 minus 8 would give me 92%. Converting 92% to a decimal would be 0.92. 0.92 I could then multiply to 216 because 216 also represents our total amount of animals we have at the shelter. So in doing so, 216 times 92 or 0.92, at the end of the summer, if we were to round this, because our answer we get is 198.72. Now, we can't have 0.72 of an animal. That's kind of gross. It's like one leg or an arm. If we were to round it to the nearest whole animal, we'd round that 7 and make it 199 animals. Let's look at another problem using the same method that we just did here. And we'll use the same graph. We'll just erase a little bit here. So let's say we went school shopping. I know it's really way too early to even think about it. But let's say we went school shopping. And let's say that we have a backpack. We're buying a backpack. And this backpack is $75. But they're offering a special with it being 20% off. So again, how do we go about doing this? Well, once again, 100 would be our total percentage. 20% would be our value in our bar. So this little notch right here represents 20. It's 20 out of 100. And our total value would be $75. So again, 100 minus 20 would give me 80%. 80% would then turn into 0.08. We then take 0.08, or 0.8, and we're going to multiply it by $75, making our backpack only $60. I don't know about you, that's a really expensive backpack. We're talking like high-end backpacks. But let's say instead because let's say you found like a really, beside the backpack your mom picked out, which is normally the one you don't want, let's say you found a really, really cool one. And it was 20% more than $75. And you want to figure out that value. How would you go about doing that using our picture? Let's solve it, shall we? So, 20% more does not mean we're going to subtract. It means instead we're going to add 20% more. So in doing so, again, you take 100, instead of subtracting, you're going to add your 20%, which will give you 120. So it's not 75 anymore. How much would our backpack be? So in converting 120%, we would end up with, as a decimal, 1.2 would be our decimal. 1.2 would be our new decimal. We're then going to take that and we're going to multiply it to 75. So 75 times 1.2. When we do that, we end up with $90. So your new backpack that your mom's looking at the price tag going, no way, would be $90. Very good. Let's look at your exit slip now, shall we? Okay. Let's say, I don't know, studio audience, what would you like to see on the board here? What would you like to buy?
Apples.
Okay, apples. Sure. Let's say we're going to the store and we're buying a bunch of apples. And let's say the apples, which are normally $10 for a bag of apples, let's say they're at a discount. They're at a discount for, let's say, let's try a decimal percentage now. 2.5% off. What is our new discount price? So I'll give you a minute to pause the video and go ahead and solve this problem. All right, let's plug everything in, shall we? So once again, 100% goes down the bottom here. 2.5% off. We're going to mark that, making it 2.5. And our original total is $10. So again, 100 minus 2.5. So 100 minus 2.5 would be 97.5. And 97.5%, if I were to convert that, would give me, into a decimal, 0.975. I then take that, multiply it $10, and my new discount price would be, because it would knock a quarter off, but a quarter sometimes is a very large value, depending on when you're buying groceries for yourself, $9.75 would be your discount price for those apples. Your homework tonight is posted on Google Classroom. Join me next week when we'll be delving more into percentages and looking at percent increase and decrease. Stay tuned.